Hello my lovely listeners. How are you today? Today we are going to listen to a heartwarming English story called The Smartest Giant in Town, the real story. Are you ready? Let's begin. In the middle of a place called Gigglewood Town, there lived a gentle giant named George. George was incredibly tall. On misty mornings his head almost touched the clouds, and little birds sometimes sat in his hair as if it were a cozy nest. But George had one big problem. He sighed and said, "I wish I wasn't the scruffiest giant in town." His shirt was old and patchy, and his sandals flopped sadly with every step. One bright morning, George spotted a new shop in town. The sign said, "Smart and snazzy, clothes for everyone." Inside, he found the most wonderful outfit. A crisp striped shirt, a bright red tie, shiny trousers, warm patterned socks, and polished brown shoes. George looked in the mirror and gasped. "I'm the smartest giant in town," he said proudly. George walked out of the shop feeling very smart indeed. But as he walked through Gigglewood, something kept happening that would change his day completely. By the river, he saw a tiny mouse sitting sadly beside the water. George knelt down and asked, "What's wrong, little one?" The mouse squeaked, "My house got washed away in the river, and I'm freezing and scared." George thought for a moment, then gently took off his smart red tie. He tied it around a small twig to make a little sail. "Here you go," he said. "Now you have a warm little boathouse to keep you safe." The mouse smiled and squeaked, "No giant has ever been this kind to me." George walked on. He felt a bit less smart without his tie, but a lot warmer in his heart. A little further along, he met a giraffe shivering in the breeze. "What's wrong?" asked George. The giraffe said, "My neck is so cold. I dropped my scarf in the lake." Without hesitating, George took off his lovely new shirt and wrapped it gently around her long neck. "There you are," he said. "Now you can reach the treetops without freezing." The giraffe smiled and replied, "Thank you, George. You might look less smart now, but you are definitely the kindest." George walked on. No tie, no shirt, but an even warmer heart. Next, he saw a goat trying to fix a little boat for her kids. The sail was torn and wouldn't catch the wind. "I can't get my babies safely across the water," she bleated. George looked down at his shiny new trousers. Then he smiled. He carefully took them off and handed them to the goat. "You can stitch these into a strong sail," he said. "They're good, thick cloth." The goat's eyes lit up. "You've given us a way to travel safely," she said. "You really are the smartest giant, because you know how to help." George walked on, now just in his patterned socks and shoes, and his old gown underneath. Near the marsh, he found a fox family stuck in mud. Their home had flooded and everything was wet and cold. The fox cubs were shivering. George took off his cozy patterned socks, rolled them up, and used them as tiny sleeping bags for the cubs. "These will keep your little paws warm for tonight," he said. The fox mother bowed her head and whispered, "You've given us comfort when we had nothing." "Thank you, George." George walked on again, now just in his shiny shoes and his old gown. He looked less and less like the smartest giant in town, but he felt happier and happier with each kind thing he did. Finally, he met a lost penguin, wobbling along and shivering. "I'm too cold to walk all the way back home," said the penguin. George looked at his polished brown shoes. They were the last smart thing he had left. Slowly, he slid them off and placed them in front of the penguin. "Here, pop your little feet in these. They'll keep you nice and warm." The penguin waddled into the shoes and sighed with relief. "You're amazing," he said. "No one has ever helped me like this." Now George was back to his old, scruffy sandals and patched-up gown. He stared at himself and thought, "I don't look smart at all anymore. Everyone will just think I'm the scruffiest giant in town again." But when he walked into Gigglewood Town Square, he got a huge surprise. All the animals he helped were waiting for him. There were lanterns hanging from branches, flowers scattered on the ground, and a big leaf banner that said, To the smartest giant in town, the one with the biggest heart, the mouse, the giraffe, the goat, the fox family and the penguin all stepped forward and placed a special crown on his head. It was made from little sails, ribbons, flowers and pebbles. George felt his eyes fill with happy tears. "But I gave away all my new clothes," he said softly. The mouse squeaked. "Yes, but you gained something much better," the giraffe added. "You gained us." And the fox cubs shouted, "You're the smartest giant because you are the kindest giant." At that moment, George understood something very important. Being smart wasn't about fancy shirts or shiny shoes. Being smart was about making kind choices and using your heart to help others. And from that day on, George was known in Gigglewood as the happiest and truly the smartest giant in town. Thank you for listening, my lovely friends. If you enjoyed this British English story, don't forget to like and follow for more cozy tales and vocabulary practice. See you next time. Bye for now.